Hi, this is Dave Bennett. It is December 5th, 2017, and I just want to say, ladies and gentlemen, please step right up and place your bets. What are you betting on? That any one of these campaigns that you get in any combination, however many you want to get, one or more, is going to turn into a recurring monthly income stream to you of something between 300 and 900 a month typically. Okay. In other words, one-time payments are intended to be to kickstart an AdWords campaign that's set up for a lead in a certain city, right? That a cold caller brought into one of our websites, all right? And if we can get a few phone calls coming through to that guy and he likes those leads, the company likes those leads, they're going to be so happy to get on a week-to-week contract with us to keep paying for leads as long as it's part of their total profit, all right? Now we have a senior a senior Google partner who does AdWords campaigns. He's an expert at them. He does them well. We've covered some of that in earlier videos, right? He has set up the campaigns in each one of these cases. Every single one of these took between 2 and 3 hours, and he gets paid nothing until, right? We're getting good calls through to these clients, right? And we can charge them for it, right? So he is totally committed to making sure the hours work because we're handing him this opportunity on a silver platter. He's got his people to expand this as we go. We've got departments happening now. We've got a cold caller department run by a guy who has several cold callers coming on as training by hand. And along with that, we have a robocalling program that's working very well. Many of the leads we brought in actually came through robocalls, okay? Now we have campaigns ready for all of these guys to start. You want to see what that looks like? I'll just show you. If you look, you get the idea, okay? Here's some guy, roofing, okay, in Cambridge, Massachusetts, all right? Brought in by this guy here, okay, with that promo code. Don't ask me why the columns are separated. We'll figure it out as we go. We've just been getting all the right information to make this stuff transparent and useful for you. So if you happen to own any of these assets and you want to get your own campaign so you can pick up the 20% for the ownership and the 20% for claiming the campaign, or say you're a cold caller, and you're getting 20% for the being a cold caller, and you also want to get 20% for claiming the campaign, make sure to sign up as an AdWords funder so you can see this screen with this billboard that you can choose campaigns from. Okay, let me try to do all these pieces in order because otherwise it won't make sense. So let me just look at one of these guys, Cambridge, Massachusetts. I might be interested in that guy. Let me see a little more about him. Oh, that's the company. That's the phone number. He's going 8 to 8. So we're going to have calls going all day long at a normal time. Service radius of 15 miles outside the area. Oh, he does work on Saturday and Sunday, so it's going to be a more wonderfully intensive campaign. Okay, and what do we know that we need to know? Who to contact to check on whether his ads are good. Okay, whether we're getting him good leads. Okay, this is the website to which he's assigned, and it's a this is the actual call tracking metrics phone number that whoever claims this campaign is going to be able to go listen to the calls through. Okay, whole system's transparent. Okay, everyone in the system makes 20% on their deals, whatever they're connected to. If you are a cold caller for one of these, then whenever someone does claim your campaign, you're going to start making 20% on the profits. And the guy who claims it makes 20% for paying for the AdWords. Whoever owned the underlying website that was built up, whoever paid for that, the development of the website, also gets 20% for owning that so-called office space that everyone is working inside of. Okay, so there's value in being an owner of the website. There's value in being a cold caller, leading people in that we assign to the website. And there's value in being an AdWords funder. And the coolest thing about being the AdWords funder is this is the last step in the chain. The moment you pay this money, okay, and we get around, we got to process it all through, obviously. But when you do, it rings up as claimed. For us in admin, we see that. We see that you just pay. We see what you pay. We see it's claimed. What do? We put it into your AdWords account. Now for all of you guys who have built up funds that we haven't put into anything yet, okay, we're doing it all one big step at a time to make sure it's organized before it goes haywire on us. We can't have 50 guys a day signing up for the system if we're not in control. So we put all of our time into it and attention into getting all those campaigns attached, CTM phone numbers attached, get you guys attached to the phone number so that you can listen to them for everything that you should be able to. All of you should be able to log into call tracking metrics now. You should know how. You should have gotten a welcome email. if you've spent money on one of these positions, okay? And it's in use, all right? And you can tell which of your stuff is in use. If you own, then you log in as an LPE owner and you can see how many active campaigns are on your websites. If there are not any yet, don't worry, there will be. We're getting through everyone, okay? That's what we're doing here, and it's amazing. Now, here's the point I want to make too. Cold callers can log in, AdWords funders can log in, website owners can log in. You can hear the call recordings. You can tell, like we can, whether they're going to be any good. So anyway, everyone's involved in their stuff. So if you signed up, you can log in and see the status of things. We're getting through everyone. Now, here's the point I want to make. You can go to, if you want to see this screen so you can make purchases now, okay, this is through PayPal, right? When you claim these, you'll make the PayPal payment. That'll send us this money, right? So when you do that, right, here's how you do it. You sign up here, gettrialleads.com/AF, all right? That's AdWords funders, all right? AdWords funding. AF, so the AF program. So gettrialleads.com/AF. It will just take you a few moments to sign up. And then you don't spend any money when you sign up. It's free. But you're letting us know what you have available for AdWords funding, okay? Just so we have a clue inside the system, you know? We could call some guys for some bigger campaigns and say, hey, do you want to take a stack of 5 on at once, you know, in a certain industry? Because these things come up, right? Now, are you self-funding, yes or no? That's totally, it's an indication to us, you know, to be sensitive to your positions. Like if you buy shares in the system, you buy either websites or you're doing a co-op on a website and you own a state like favorittroofer.com/MA for the state of Maine for roofers, all right? Then if you're self-funding, that means if you come in now to get AdWords, we're assuming that you are interested in paying for your own AdWords campaigns, the ones on your website, because then you get 20% for owning the website and 20% for paying for the AdWords. And if you also did the cold calling bit in the middle, you get 20% for that. So you'd be getting more than half of the total profits. Okay. For those of you who wonder, how do I make half of the profits? You know, that's kind of it. Get the leads to us and pay for the AdWords funding, or own an asset and pay for the AdWords funding, or own an asset and be a cold caller that got the leads in, let someone else pay for the AdWords funding, and you're at 40% in any of those situations, or do all three. Okay, so when you sign up, you'll instantly be in the system. It's totally free, and then you can immediately see this, and then when you can see it, you can decide what you want to get. Okay, and it's a rush. Some of you guys see immediate and instant benefit of picking up different campaigns here. And some of the things you might consider is like, well, which states, which cities, what's going to be, you know, like a really big hitter first, probably, you know, bigger cities. So I might just want to go for that campaign first, right? And now I've had a lot of people say, do I have to keep paying weekly for the AdWords? The answer is that's not all the intention. If you're paying into these things and they're not going to work, we're usually going to find out long before we exhaust the whole budget, okay? So when you get in and start paying, by the time we spend like maybe the first 50 bucks, we're going to know if that guy's a good guy or not. If it looks promising, we'll keep going, okay? We'll contact them and get them on a week to week and tell them the leads are going to be 50 bucks each or whatever it is, when they're really costing us like 10 bucks each. But he'll be fine with that because he doesn't know how to do AdWords. He doesn't want to try. He wants to just pay and walk away, or maybe 40 bucks per lead where it's costing us 10 or even 8. I've had people go, what if the leads cost way more than the amount it's going to spend? The answer is that doesn't happen. AdWords is an auction and people are paying for leads. So, and every industry makes about the same profit all the way around. So guys they're all competing against each other. So they're working within a budget that fits that arena. Okay. Now, so don't worry. Okay, we're going to be able to charge them definitely more than we are paying, especially because we are good at getting the costs down because we have the right expertise and the right kind of websites. What's my point there? Get any industries you want. Get all in one industry or spread across industries or whatever you feel like doing, or grab all of your own or somebody else's holdings or whatever you want to do, or get them all, only the biggest ones first, second ones next, if you want. Totally up to you. Whatever you claim, no one else gets to touch that asset unless you choose to release it from your current campaign. So when you claim something and make the payment, it will show up here. You'll see it. you will have a button for releasing it if you ever wanted to. Why might you release a campaign? Well, because you got enough profit on it to go and buy your own share, your own website. Now you want to buy your own website, and then you want to come back here when yours are ready, and you want to get yours, okay? That way you can double up on your own percentages. So you can work your way up ladders that way if you just want to hold your funds together, but you don't need to. You're still making the same percentage, whether it's all on you or you're spreading it out. If you own an asset in distressed homes, okay, you're getting 20% if other people are running it. But then you also are a cold caller for lawyer DOI, then you earn 20% for that. And let's say you funded garage door repair. Well, you're getting 20% for that, okay? Everything that's producing income from the clients who are getting good leads and the monies that are getting paid to them, they're paying us part of that, okay? And we pay you your share, which is 20% of the profits. And we keep taking your original money and wrapping it back in, okay? That's the whole thing. So we are trying to keep it at this. We may need to call you later with good campaigns and say, hey, we're all agreed, the guy's willing to pay, but he can handle more leads per week than we thought. Do you want to get the investment up to this much? And you might be like, yeah, sure, of course. You know, you'll throw in 200 bucks more just to cap it off. Now that the cap's there, every time we get paid, we take that out, put it back in so we can keep rolling it. And then this gets split 5 ways, right? For the 5 different positions that get paid out. And then each guy gets their share of that position. Now, I want to make this clear as a disclaimer before anyone goes crazy with this. It may feel like an investment scheme, like a legal Ponzi, because it's not a Ponzi. No one's paying you out of monies coming in from other guys. We're paying you out of monies coming in from the leads who get clients who search for them on Google, and we're doing a real job. We are helping pest control companies find pest control leads. We're helping guys who got a DUI get connected to a good lawyer, right? That kind of thing. Do you want to see what this looks like from the real angle? Here's what makes it not a Ponzi. Let me just show you, okay? These are job numbers for the industries, for the city and states that are Google approved ads, okay? This is how much we're asking to jumpstart those AdWords campaigns. Here's how it looks, okay? AdWords. I'm gonna log in AdWords, and I'm just gonna show you what I mean. For those of you who are like, how close is this step to the finished process of running ads live? I want to show you. AdWords. Okay. Let me see. Right now, we only have one campaign running for the hardest industry there was, distressed homes, where we're up against mega millionaires because we've been busy setting up the system for everything else. We've done everything. We've done used commercial fitness equipment. Our senior Google partner's done everything. Okay, and so here's what's going on. Let me make this point. This is so interesting. These are all those campaigns. See the job numbers? Okay, let me just, I don't care. Let me pick something like 22 WPC pest and termite control, right? Job number 22 for this guy. What's that look like? Job number 22, Steve Falls, a cold caller for it. That is the industry. If I click on it for more details, there's the business name, WPC Pest and Termite Control, okay? This is for his area, Worcester, Maine, okay? Somewhere in here, I would figure that out. Like if I went to that and started looking at the details of it, I'd be able to figure that out, okay? Now, in here, we have his campaigns going. We have everything set up. We have the keywords. We have the negative keywords. We have everything going. We know what the ad's supposed to say. Okay, even using dynamic keyword swapping, which is an advanced characteristic that makes a better match for whatever somebody types, they see that. And it's all call-only campaigns on a phone. What is the point of the call-only campaigns on the phones? Sorry, I don't mean to be crazy. If you have Google up and you do a search for something like, I don't know, sell my home now. Maybe you can see it, right? Sell my home now, top ad, okay, if you can see that, is sellmyhome-now.com for Washington State, right? What is that? Or sell your home-now for Washington State. Many of you guys have assets on that website. It's just not in Washington State, right? Let me show you what that looks like right now so you can understand what happened there, right? Because there are not so many, let me see. I got to remember what I'm doing to get back there. Okay. There are not so many people trying to sell their home all the time as there is anything else. AdWord is suspended, or account is suspended. Somebody wanted us to run something for them that they shouldn't be asking for. Totally different. Okay. These, by the way, are all Google approved. That's the point. They are just not active yet. 43 accounts aren't active. All right. They're sitting here waiting for people to fund them. All right. And some of you guys who've sent in the money already, oh, there we go. We're going to get you taken care of soon. Now, what does profits look like? Let me give you an example with this hardest one so you understand what you're buying. Because when I say step up and place your bets, I want to make that make some sense. I'm telling you, these things are going to be worth like 300 to 900 bucks each on average for you guys. Let me make this point. We have spent, and right now, like average cost per click is like 33 and a half bucks. But that industry is spending between 100 and 150 a click. Okay. Not getting a lot of clicks, right? But that's distressed homes. Not everyone's trying to sell their house overnight. They really are not for dirt cheap, right? Most people don't want to. They try to sell it, especially in this area, Seattle, because home prices are increasing all the time. There's huge demand for homes. So when people really need to sell their homes around here, that's because they're hurting. All right, let me just give you an example. All time, okay? Let me tell you what's possible all time. Okay. 521 bucks has gotten spent so far on clicks, right? Average cost per click is like 30 and a half. We've had 17 total, okay, for 2,000 impressions since late September. We're talking 2.5 months, right? October, November, and then the rest, okay? 521. What's come out of it? Okay, let me make this point. Let me start with this. We've gotten 3 absolute leads that are worth a minimum of 5,000 each. Okay, they should be more, or maybe more, but 5,000 each, they should be that. Times 3 equals, plus another guy who had a property that came through. It was a 4th lead that was totally good, but probably not worth 5K. Some guy with some small parcel of land, like a 2.5 hour drive out. So the companies say, we're not going to bother with that. We could probably call it a good lead in any normal situation and charge the client for it, or we could debate it, or they could ask us not to do it and we'd just credit them 1. But what's the point? 15K at least. So what would the profit split be like if we were taking half the profits? By the time we get all this dialed in right, we're charging them the right amount per lead. Okay, then it would be like this, divided by 2. They keep half, we keep half. 7,500. Okay. By the way, that's ours minus the 521 it cost in the first place, minus like 5. It's actually 500 because we're going towards the next guy. I don't care. I'm just trying to keep the numbers clear. How many people are splitting that money? 5 divided by 5. 1,400 bucks. Now that's 1,400 per person in 2.5 months. Divide by 2.5. By the way, that includes a lot of dead time because we had to really get good at what we were doing. It took us a while to dial that in because we're up against mega millionaires competing against us. So we spent probably 3 weeks in the beginning, 2 weeks in the beginning to get our first real click. 2 weeks went into that. And then later we spent like a week and a half maybe of testing wider and then saying, forget about it, we're losing control over it. So we came back to call-only campaigns. What's an advantage of call-only campaigns over desktop views? Desktop views, click fraud. Your competitors can click your ads. They can hire other people to click your ads. They can use Hide My Ass or other proxy transfers to suddenly change your IP and log in or click your ad again and look like someone else. Can't really do that on a phone. Most guys can't do that on a phone. The best you can normally do on a phone is jog to McDonald's, log into their wireless, and then click an ad. Then jog over somewhere else and log into their wireless, and like the library, and log into their wireless and click an ad. No one's going to bother. Okay? You might get a couple of clicks that way from somebody experimenting, but then they're going to give it up quick because that's no way to run somebody else's budget up. All right? So my point is that doesn't happen. That means that every 2 or 3 calls that come through on a phone are going to be good. You might say, can't we make it every call? The answer is no, no one can do that, okay? People sometimes just hit the wrong thing. Oops, or they call and they're like, oh, I'm sorry, I thought you guys did this after all. And that's where our cold calling manager listens to the recordings and goes adjust the ads. But what do I want to say? This could be, so let's say it's really like this. What do we say again? Times 2.5. Let me just come back down to, now that we know what we're doing and cross hybridize our training from anywhere else. Now, if you were doing campaigns like this somewhere else in the country, what would that mean? That'd be more like divided by 1.5. Okay. Like $900 a month income stream could be 800, 900, something up in there. So just by paying for that a campaign in that industry, and by the way, a couple are coming up very shortly, then the reality check is they can be worth that much. Now, let me remind you of something before all of you think it would be good to wait for those. That's not true. Does that mean that it pays better than these? No. Why? It took us 2.5 months to get a lousy 2,000 impressions and 17 clicks. Other industries, this happens every single day. So even though it's less total profit, say, it can be a hell of a lot more money, okay? But what we're saying is that any one of these things can most likely will turn into something between 300 and 900. Some will be bad apples. We'll mark them as bad apples. We won't allow those companies to sign up again. We just, maybe we listen to the calls, and who knows, maybe the guy let it go to voicemail all the time. All right. And he just wants to say, I wasn't there to get that call. You know, if we don't trust that these trial leads are good quality, we're going to stop right away. Long before we spend all the money, we might spend 100 and say, that guy, the guy in here is no good. You know what we're going to do with the remaining 300? Apply it to some other campaign. We will come back and claim something else for you that we think is solid, and we'll go ahead and move forward with it. Okay. We will always try to preserve your money as best we can, and you get the transparency of logging in and listening to the calls to see if that's true. This is a people-owned system, and a people share by helping each other and help themselves in any combination system. One of the brainstorms we had was, why do you have to only pay for ads on your own campaigns when you might want to spread across industries, but you don't have the kind of money to buy into every industry yourself with your own assets? So we said, why isn't it that some people can pay for campaigns in other industries for other guys who don't have the money for them? We can match you. We created this system to totally track all that and make sure that we can show you the transparency so that you have realistic expectations. You can listen to the call recordings and go, okay, this guy's going right, that guy's not so much. You know what we're going to have in a few days? A rating system. For all the campaigns that are claimed that you have in your current campaigns, you're going to be able to listen to the call recordings and rate on a scale of 1 to 5 where you think the calls are at. So you as an AdWords funder will be able to do that. The cold caller will be able to do that. And the LPE owner will be able to do that. In the beginning, we don't need you to. Our cold calling manager can move through, I don't know how many of these are going to get claimed in the next few days, but it's going to be a rush, especially for the ones in the bigger cities. These are all huge industries with huge profit potentials. Why we picked them. There is no such thing as a loser in this list. Now, some might be smaller, right? Alabama, Atlanta, Abilene. All that means is it'll take longer to get through the budget, longer so it'll just take longer to make money on that. But it's got just as good a chance of being an income stream as anything else. It's pretty cheap if you consider that in small cities, right? It's just going to take longer to get through the budget. We're always going to start conservatively. We're going to work our way up carefully. We're going to watch carefully, make sure nothing gets ahead of us fast. That's why we didn't do all this before. We were still lining up the rest of the campaigns. We can't have the manager do both at the same time without paying attention and be able to pay attention to all of it. So we said, first this, you guys claim, we'll get those campaigns started, watch the calls, make sure we're moving in the right direction, turn over to the call manager to take over from there so that he can start listening to the calls and know who to call back to get our weekly contracts, get those contracts in, and we'll start charging, right? You guys in your system, you're going to be able to see what you got, and you're going to be able to listen to the recordings. Like I said, any one of these that you get, okay, to make the point, you will be attached to that call tracking metrics account. Release that call tracking metrics phone number in that account. You're going to be able to go listen to the recordings on that phone number that is for that guy. And if this guy turns out to be a bad apple, which he probably won't, there's no reason he would be a bad apple. I mean, look, he put in these notes about what he prefers to do, what he does not do, whatever it is, and really had nothing to say about that other than, hey, I handle it all, you know. And then notes over the best hooks. I was really impressed with one guy who said, what do? You know, notes about your preferred leads. We handle all this, that, and the other. And then for notes about what you don't do, he put give up. He doesn't give up. And then he had his notes over the, you know, like a free consultation or whatever. You know what that meant? It just, we know what to put for Zad now. Beat your DUI. We don't give up. You know, free consultation, phone number. That shows up right here when the guy is at lunch trying to do this in a corner where no one sees because he got the DUI ticket and he sees that and he goes click. That's a good lead. Okay, it happens all the time. Now here's the point: you're getting these, and we attach you to these things. Look at this. Look at this. All these are ready, and if I go to any one of them, okay, and just look at what's going on. The keywords have been covered. There are tons of keywords, or tons of ads, or tons of negative keywords. These things have all been set up. If you're looking at these, they've been done right. Look at this list, right? Everything in the area with all the different terms with, you know, broad match, exact match, phrase match, and look at how long this list is, okay? What do I mean to say? This is done professionally. You would pay normally like $1,000 for someone to do that for you before they manage it and charge you weekly for however much you want in your campaign. But we're all sold on this because he loves this because all these campaigns that you're getting, as long as he does his job of managing and listening to the recordings and making sure that he gets the keywords adjusted for that guy, each guy, he gets 20% of the profits that come off of every one of these campaigns. So that gives him the budget to hire the guys he trusts, to listen to the recordings with him and give him feedback. In the meantime, we're going to put in a star rating system for you guys to measure. And it'll just come live for all of you, whether you own campaigns already or not. You're going to have that star rating system here in a couple of days. How's that? Okay. That way we can get the feedback from each guy who's vested into each position. That'll give us an average. And it'll be a good average. If we see like ones or twos, you know what we're going to say? Let's go check that out real quick. And we're going to go listen to those recordings because there are a lot of campaigns, right? This just helps give us insights, right? And so then we're going to go look and listen and make a decision whether we should continue with that guy or not. You guys are helping us move fast with your money. That's the whole point, by just listening to the calls and giving us feedback. Anything that you're like, oh crap, man, those are some good calls. You know, you can mark 4 or 5. And if we're getting an average 4 or 5, then we're going to run over and listen. And it's like, and our cold calling manager will see that too. And he will say, ooh, it's time to get a hold of this guy and lock him into a weekly. How much should we be charging him? You know, and we'll figure it out because we all want to get paid. That's what I mean. So are you really placing bets? No. Is it a Ponzi scheme? No, not at all. Is it an investment? No. I do not want the SEC come to the door. I cannot promise you that these things will work. Some of these campaigns will be bad apples, right? Again, we're going to try to preserve your money by hopscotching over to other campaigns anytime we feel like a guy's a nut. But probably for every 4 of these you would buy, 3 are going to turn out to be good, okay? Because these are regular guys who came in and gave us their information. They want leads, okay? They want someone to run the show because they don't know what they're doing, okay? They're here because they don't know how. That's why they signed up. Companies that have incredibly great AdWords campaigns and they're all over the place, they may or may not sign up, but it's the guys who need help that signed up. So we are totally doing something useful, and you are making that happen by enabling. And this system allows all of you guys just to own the system as a batch and maneuver around wherever you want to be inside the system and do good things inside the system. You know, anyone who's paying for co-ownership on websites or dedicated websites, it's how we can afford to pay people to build them and check them and change pages and update phone numbers, right? All you guys who are getting the cold callers in, that's how we can get the call tracking metrics numbers. It's how we can get these leads coming in. All of you guys who are enabling the campaigns, you're paying us the money. We put the money in that campaign. You paid, it goes on. Okay. If it's set to go on at 8 a.m. Pacific time the next day, then that's when it will just start all by itself. And since you know the phone numbers, after you claim the campaign, We set up the access. We hit that. You wonder what that's like. It's so funny to see this if you haven't seen it. Let me just show you. Okay. When you sign up as an AdWords funder, we get your email for that particular campaign. See, some of the campaigns are already claimed anyway. Then what does that have us do? We see a blue icon. We press it, becomes a yellow one. Take a look. Okay, latest guy, right? I'm just going to hit it. He was the AdWords funder, and that's the point. Take a look. The guy who owns the LPE, landing page expansion project, that particular project for that job number for that guy, whoever owns it, okay, we hit the button and it integrates with the CTM API and sets that guy up to have access to listen to this phone number. Then whoever was the cold caller could be the same guy, right? Is going to also get access to that. Whoever's the AdWords funder gets access to that phone number too. So all three guys, whether they're the same or different, it's just going to be the same guy. Whenever we hit the extra buttons, it just goes, yeah, duplicate read. The guy's already attached. No big deal. So they can listen to the phone. Now that's totally cool. This guy's going to earn 60% of his holdings, right? Because he's just getting all of his own stuff. He's wise that way. And he has the budget. That's just it. Now everyone has the budget. That's why you guys can cross-reference and spread out across industries or whatever you want to do. This guy, same thing. I'm gonna hit it, and it would attach him, but it's just gonna say, hey, this guy's already in the system. So, oh yeah, I was logged out. I was timed out. Yeah, let me get back in. Go back down. Oh, we got him anyway. It timed me out after it sent the request. All right, so here's the thing. Same thing now. He gets to listen to everything going on there. Okay, so whenever we enable his thing, which will be real soon now that we're done with all, take a look. All the first runs, this blew my mind when I saw it. Okay, they're either claimed, there's one that needs attention. This guy's phone number, when we called it, an automated menu came up and said, hi, to speak with an agent, please press 0. And what Google said was we couldn't verify the phone number. Well, of course they couldn't. So we had to contact that guy back and say, hey, we need a different phone number so we can run you some free ads. So it needs attention. We got to wait for him to give us a new phone number, and we'll set that new phone number up and then resubmit the Google ad, and then we can run that campaign. So since it said to need attention, it is therefore not in this list. This list is only Google approved, okay? Everything is Google approved in the list, okay? Everything else is either Google approved, claimed, and there's the last one. We're waiting for Google to approve this one, and it will be another one that's Google approved to be in the list, okay? Then guess what we can do? We can go back to the rest of the cold caller payments and the rest of the AdWords funder payments. Well, the cold caller payment, the AdWords funders have all been assigned. That's where the claims have come from. We've already taken care of that in here. Now, the cold callers, it's going to be time to run the rest of yours out and get new guys in here. Now that we've gone through all the steps of this process, we can go back and do more faster. By the way, the cold calling manager has something between 25 and 50 people he's training. Many are probably college students who are marketing, who signed up, marketing students, and they want to call per lead, and we're going to be able to have a pay per exact lead process going on there, where you pay a certain amount for a lead, okay? Because we're going to be able to pay those guys exactly for leads. And so we've got a standard whereby we pay them for every 10. That way they have an incentive to keep pounding away. But for college students, if they work all day, and then we go through and the cold calling manager just double checks behind them to make sure that the companies know what's going on, so that no one's just putting in company information. Then we clear them and get them paid. We can do that pretty quickly. You guys are paying for the leads, and we're arranging all that work through them and making them do it, and then they do it. And then guess what? You guys get credited for the ongoing commissions on those leads for the one-time payments of getting them into the system in the first place. It's really amazing that we got this far. College students would kill to earn like $250 in a day to help pay the rent or get the night out on town or whatever it is. And so we're lining up a lot of people. Imagine if we have like 25 people are pulling in 10 leads a day. That's 250 leads a day hitting the dashboard. This is why we had to go through this in stages. We had to make sure that we could control all this and what it would take to get this done. Because we have to have more guys under the control of the senior Google partner. And he knows who to bring in. And he knows how he wants them trained. And they report to him, and he pays them out of his share. Okay. That's amazing. So we have growth happening. We have this huge growth in the cold caller area. We have this huge growth in the AdWords funder area. Um, website so far, we're going to reach out into new industries as soon as we feel like it's time. Okay. And it will be time after we cover some ground. But right now, let's make some money, guys. Let's make some money. All those Google approved campaigns, you're in a rush. One or two got bought while I did this recording. They got claimed because I saw this before I left. Some people have been claiming this while I've done the recording. I'm not kidding. What that means is this: move. As a matter of fact, I wonder, it's 27. Was it higher before? Okay, it's 27. I think it was higher before. Um, whatever. It was like at least 28, if not 29 before. But I'll tell you what, get in and get going. This is huge. All right. These, many of these are going to be income streams. You're going to start making money on them. That's all I can say. We couldn't do it alone. If we had 250 of these appearing a day, you're like, why don't you do this by yourself? I can't possibly. I can't scale this out and scope this out. You might say, well, why don't you try to run the whole thing on your own? The answer is, I don't want to wait that long to be a millionaire, for one thing. Second of all, let me say this again because this is a big deal. People are a resource. Pooling all your funds and all your attention into this is a massive resource. Getting everyone lined up like this is a massive resource. It's totally helpful. We could not be this far without you. This never would exist in this state without the LPE owners who bought websites or co-ops in the first place, without cold callers putting up money in the first place to get these in. We would have one industry with a couple of websites. This Get Trial Leads wouldn't even exist. We wouldn't even need that much organization. We would have a couple of leads that we ran out and got a hold of ourselves, and we'd be paying an AdWords manager just to do a couple of AdWords up front, you know, with an idea of him making a commission on the end. So you guys made this growth possible, and thank you. I mean, this is good for us and it's good for you, and you can play as many ways as you want. And it is a totally liquid thing. So, you know, it's one thing for clout to say, I'm a millionaire. But for real clout, you want to say, I've created a lot of millionaires. Or at least you can start with, I've helped guys augment or replace the incomes that they make at their jobs and get them online from home, or help their spouse get online from home if their spouse needs a job. This is making it possible for you to enable people to work. When you pay for cold callers, people are working. When you pay for AdWords funding, people are working. When you're paying for websites, people are working. By now, there are a lot of people behind this system. That's where the money goes. It goes to lots of people. And this is cool. So everyone's getting their share, their 20%. So it may feel like investment commission payout, and really from our point of view, it's just funding departments for continued growth, right? And you get your cut out of that. It's almost as though you own the company. So this is like a people-owned system. It really is. All right, guys. Like I say, ladies and gentlemen, please step up and place your bets. So anyone who wants to get going in this thing, you know what the drill is. GetTrialLeads.com/AdWords funders. So GetTrialLeads.com/AF. Sign up if you haven't do it. Check these boxes. Make these notes. Self-funding is not really important. You can say yes or no. It's just an indication. It doesn't force you to self-fund to say yes. You can self-fund or not self-fund. But we're just aware that you might want to fund your own. We'll check with you first before we put your campaigns on the billboard. And then you can submit. And then once you do, you'll be able to log in and immediately see this. If you got any money in PayPal, just choose your weapons and claim those campaigns before other people do. If you want to do a search, sure, you can do a search. Let's say we were doing like I don't care, pest. And we were doing it for, let's say, Arizona. We got one in Mesa, one in Yuma, you know? So yes, you can use the search in this way to see what's going on. All right, I'm done for now. I got to run off. I actually got a volunteer thing for my kid at the school, and some students are going to come and pick me up because they're earning community points by doing some driving for community events. So I don't know. When I get home tonight, I'll check and see how many campaigns got claimed. And guys, we're going to be starting these, you know. We're just going to go through this bit of you claiming campaigns and asking us some questions. You know, whoever's asking before you claim, please don't, you know, ask if you need, but just realize that there's going to be a lot of rush in this and a lot of noise. So if you get the point, you can already claim whatever you want to claim. All right, do it before someone else does. You can claim whatever you want. And then what? You'll see it in your current campaigns. You'll see the status of it. When it flips from Google approved into here, it's claimed. When we physically launch it, we'll change the status to running. When the ads are physically running, you can log into those phone numbers on your call tracking metrics account, because you will get a welcome email telling you how to get in and how to listen. Anyone not know how to do it for your running campaigns? Just let us know. Okay. Wait till the campaigns are marked running first, so you know that we went through all the steps, right? That way it's not just, oh, I haven't gotten to it yet. But if we went through the steps and it's running, you should be able to log in and listen to the calls so that you know what's going on with your investment. Within a couple of days, you'll be able to actually rate the calls, so that you're just hoping us keep track fast. That way we can sort by rating, high to low, low to high, so that we can actually see where we need to put our attention first for any bad apples, and for any guys who probably are going to turn to weekly contracts right now, and we can start collecting income streams. Okay. It's got to take a couple of good calls at least. None of those companies are going to want to pay us on one good call, but 2 or 3, they're pretty convinced that we're doing it for real. Okay. And it's okay if there are a couple of bad calls on the way, right? In the beginning. But we should be able to nail that out fast. That's the whole point. We're charging this much so that we have enough elbow room. Okay, this is based on elbow room in the industry for the amount that the ads tend to cost to pull that off. Can these numbers change? Yes, they can change. Get these now where the numbers are at now, because they're only going to go up later. We're just going to have, the further we get in, the more we're going to have totally ready campaigns that we can model from that are really good. So then the amount to buy-in is going to go up, right? Because we're just going to say, let's collect enough for a month now and just hammer it, because we have so much confidence now that we know exactly how much profit we can create with each of these. It's time to do it. All right. But you guys are helping us grow, and we're growing carefully because it's a people-owned system. You're trusting us to run it. We're doing our best, and you're seeing it unfold. All right, guys. Thank you very much. I'm going to go. Have fun. Place your bets. Who knows how many income streams you're setting up right now? And you're helping all the rest of these guys who are like, please get my asset, please, because they're all sitting here waiting for you to claim their campaigns, or they can claim their own, whether they're a cold caller or the owner of the site. Really, right now, we've already taken care of all the guys who prepaid. So all you guys who want your campaigns, they're live. Be the first to grab them if you want to get your own, or else let other people grab them. If you don't have the budget, doesn't really matter. That's why it's a people-owned system. Everyone earns from being involved. So just get all the income streams that you think are the best ones. Go for whatever's available and grow with us. It's crazy. It doesn't have an end. Maybe one day you'll be sitting on 15 campaigns or 30, and they'll all be paying something like $500 a month to you. That's what we're going for, guys. This is it. This is the beginning of that system. It's not stopping. Everyone's interested. Okay. See you then.